Woonsocket. This is ON AM and FM.
WOON Woonsocket.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel. And good morning, everybody. Nice to have you with us here on Coffee Ann for this wonderful Tuesday, the 24th of February. Nice to have you with us here. My name is Dave Richards. You know who you are. And we are alone in the studio once again, as far as the studio is concerned. We do have, however, friends on the telephone lines to execute the conversational portion of our program, starting with usual Coffee Ann moderator Joe Callahan. Come in if you can hear me, Joe.
Good morning, Dave. Nice to be here with you guys.
Yeah, and we also have usual Tuesday morning panelist, former town administrator in North Smithfield, and overall senior advocate, Linda Tebow.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Nice to have you with us as well. Now, Joe, I don't know, did you tell me that AJ was planning on calling in as well? Because we haven't received that call, and at this point, I'm not sure how we slip him in. But we can't. We could do it. We just, it might be a little gauche on the air, that's all.
Well, I tried texting him, and I tried calling him, and never got a response either way.
So I'm sorry.
Plans are.
Okay, so he may not realize that he was invited to call in then. I misunderstood. Yesterday, right, when we were talking, I thought that he was, that we could, he was all set. And he wasn't all set, so forgive me if, don't take anything from that. And AJ, if you're listening in, don't be embarrassed. All right. We have to stop our talking for a moment here and hear a recorded message from the Career Investment Group, friends. So let's do that now.
Are you retired or retiring soon? That's great. Congratulations. You may be retiring, but your money can't afford to retire. I'm Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3, Cumberland, Rhode Island. At the Carew Investment Group, we offer personal investment management of client money, especially from the proceeds of their 401k distribution after they leave the workforce. So to find out more about our services and for professional management of your investments, call Ed or Paul Carew at 765-8880. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Very good. Thank you very much, Ed. Now, folks, you don't want to look at me all morning, so I'm going to show pictures outside. Linda, do you have a report from North Smithfield? Oh, maybe before we do this, we should go over the one thing that's been the topic of conversation during the Morning Fun Show before our Coffee Ann broadcast. And that is people are looking at pictures like the one I'm showing to everyone on TV right now and saying, hey, road's clear. Plenty of snow. It's all been plowed. We're all set to go. I'm just going to go out and drive around. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. The other thing like that. And the answer is no, you really can't do that in Rhode Island because Governor McKee has closed all roads for everything but absolutely necessary emergency travel until further notice. Now, we were given a little hint that he'll be reviewing the situation around noontime today, but that's not saying that it's going to clear up. If you go to WoonsocketRadio.com and you click on the DOT cameras that we have a link for up there, you're going to take a look and you're going to say, hey, these roads are looking pretty good. You say, how come we can't do that? Well, there's more to it than all of that. And Joe, you live in Bristol County, Massachusetts, so Bristol County, Barnstable County out in the Cape, and Plymouth County in between the two of you are all in a no-travel zone. And your governor, Maura Healey, has decided it's not safe to put the regular public out there with people who absolutely must use the roads to get someplace. So that's it. Now
Absolutely.
I got the call. What's that? What's that?
I said you're absolutely right, and no time limit on when that's going to be pulled either in
exactly.
those counties.
Same thing in Rhode Island. No time limit.
Yep.
It's till further notice. We'll let you know. Which nobody likes till further notice announcements. But that's
No.
but they really don't know, and they could cause more confusion, I suppose, by a situation where they will say we think it's going to be here and then having to extend it. For instance, when Socket's parking bans are moot because you can't use the roads. But when the governor releases the state of emergency or the travel ban or both, then you'll be able to travel. But when Socket's parking ban has been extended for a fifth time, by my count, to 7 p.m. Wednesday, 7 p.m. tomorrow. So all day today, all day tomorrow, a parking ban. So when you can go out, you're still going to have the parking ban to be concerned about. All right.
Sure.
Now, the question came to me on the phone this morning. Well, Dave, how come I see all these cars on the road? Well, I can tell you this. Presuming for a moment that everyone's obeying the law, then these are people who might work at E911, a hospital, government office, might be going to go drive a plow someplace. There might be a plow that you see out there as well. All of those different, a first responder going to the police station, a fire station, or whatever, or going home from there. I don't know. But the facts are, presuming everybody who is on the road has a really serious reason to be using the road, then that's what you're going to be seeing there. I saw several plumbing and heating trucks going by, which leads me to jump to the conclusion that somebody's lost heat, and that's life-threatening. Yeah. And they're going to try to go out there and see if they can get the heat turned back on again. See, that's the kind of emergencies that would be acceptable. But if you're just driving around or trying to go to work or go to the store's closed anyway. But if you're doing that, then you're going to get ticketed. And Joe, you told me that you overheard, was it social media, that the tickets in Massachusetts for driving needlessly during the travel ban are $500 a piece?
Yeah, that wasn't social media. That was from Channel 5's website.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
so it's somewhat official. Well,
yeah.
Brick and mortar broadcast stations, we relay what the government tells us. So yeah, and it's $85 if you get caught in Rhode Island. So it's like that. So how does that affect it? Well, we're all on the telephone here this morning. Because we tried the video hookups yesterday, and I don't have the patience for all the drama of mixing telephone with video hookups. Video hookups, no big deal. Telephone hookups, no big deal. Mixing and matching got to be problematic yesterday. Although we still had a good show. I heard the replay, and it was in pretty good shape. So that's why we're doing it that way. Now, let's extend that to 9 o'clock when, on a Tuesday, normally Gary Smith and the crew would come in for the Do You Remember program. Well, Gary's in Worcester County, Massachusetts. He can use the roads to get here. When he gets to Rhode Island, he's not supposed to be on the road.
But he's got a plow on front of his truck, Dave. He would never get pulled over.
But that would be dishonest. He's not coming here to plow. He's coming here to broadcast. And Gary is a very forthright, and he has his opinions, like any good citizen does. But when it comes down to breaking the law, Gary is a good citizen. I'm very proud of him. Proud to know him, I should say. And he's the kind of guy who says, all right, let's just not game this. Because, fine, you could have a good excuse, but it's still wrong. So he's not going to do it. And he had an additional problem. If we brought in members of his crew on telephone, we'll use up all the telephone circuits needed to have participants from the audience call in. So it really wasn't going to work. And Gary just says, throw in the towel. He says, call it. Yesterday afternoon, he says, I don't think it's worth it. Let's just not do that. Play music, do something like that. Or I was thinking we might replay Friday's show. I don't know how you feel about that. Think we ought to do that? Friday's show is still in the computer, I believe.
You taped it?
Well, yeah, it's recorded for replay at night.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, go ahead.
So we could play Friday's show this morning, I suppose. Well, let's think about that for a minute, and we'll make a decision later on. In the meantime, the fabulous Denise is in the office today. and the office is closed, but she's there at the phone. And if you have to make a telephone call into us to either join in on the program with a note here on Coffee Am, or I spoke to one person earlier today who has to update an announcement we made yesterday regarding obituaries. And they're a family member. I told them the most appropriate place would be Coffee Ann, rather than to change the broadcast of the program, which is something we have to read out of the Valley Breeze. So that's up for bats there as well. Let's check in with Linda now in North Smithfield and see how your fair town's making out. What do you think?
Oh, we're doing very well, but we're following all the rules of travel ban and, still state of emergency. Lots of snow, just like everywhere else. The schools are closed, just like everywhere else. And North Smithfield Senior Services is closed as well with their programming. But, it's good. I can see the road is plowed. And things like that. But, it's still time to stay put and listen to the governor and continue with the travel ban until he says it's okay. Lots of snow. And as someone that likes snow, I do. And it is beautiful. But we've had enough.
Come on, April, right, Linda? Come on, April.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, Linda,
a little dog is a challenge.
Linda, dear, we can I ask you to pull the phone just a little bit further away from your mouth, because we're getting so much Linda, it's making the needles peg.
Sorry. How's that?
That's much better. Thank you so much. All right. But you sound fine. We can make out what you're saying just fine. So, but down south now in the southern portions, this was an interesting one in as much as in the blizzard of 78, northern Rhode Island got a lot more snow than Providence or Warwick did. It was bad in Providence and Warwick, but it didn't get the kind of feet of snow that we had here in northern Rhode Island. This time, kind of the opposite. We didn't get as much as we got in 78 here. I've got it down at 30 inches right now, and that's subject to audit. We could be corrected on that. I'm being subjective. 30 inches here on Park Avenue. In East Woonsocket, could have a whole different amount. That's the way it is with the topography, with hills and valleys and stuff like that. But down at TF Green Airport, they got far more than they did during the blizzard of 78.
Right.
And Providence is also
right?
screaming that they need help because they got more snow than they've ever seen, ever. I'm not so sure that's true, but that's what they're saying. And having been in Woonsocket in 1978 and listening to Jerry Boulay say, we got 5 feet of snow. 56 inches of snow is out there, knowing that it was only 48. Yeah, but he was advocating for our city and to get some help over here. And that's what he said. So maybe there's a little exaggeration going on one place or another, depending on where you go. But suffice it to say, it was a bad storm. Everybody's got more snow than they need, right?
Absolutely.
A lot
And
more.
Dave, I was working at Fogarty Hospital. I'm a nurse, and I was at the hospital during 78.
Yeah.
And they made the decision the second shift came in so that they let us day people go home. And then all of a sudden, we had
And they
all
wanted you back.
Well, guess what? But I went to work in a National Guard truck.
Mm-hmm.
Just up and brought us in. They said dress warm because the back of those trucks are really cold. So for me, this blizzard, one way it was a whole lot better because I got to stay home.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go anywhere. But I also think this time people were made aware of this storm coming, and they put the travel ban in place early on. So you didn't have people stuck on the highways for 2 and 3 days,
Yeah, we learned our lesson. The government and everyone learned our lessons with big storms like that, and rightly we should. But the satellites and computers nowadays, well, they can mess you up too, but not for long. all last week, we thought that the storm coming in from the Great Lakes was going to push the blizzard storm that was coming up from the south, was going to push it way out to sea. But the one coming up from the south fooled everybody and slowed down, and the one coming in from the Great Lakes passed by before the blizzard got to us, so it came right in onto land.
Right.
There was nothing pushing it out to sea. Now that was not that was not widely known even by meteorologists until early on Friday. And they weren't sure, but they saw the tendency and they said, "Oh, this could change everything." And then by 10 o'clock in the morning, everybody was starting to point to the horizon and say, "We're all going to die." It was then the situation got worse and worse and worse in each of the forecasts after that. You're talking Friday on a Sunday night storm. We didn't have that back in '78.
No, absolutely.
No, not at all.
Didn't have the satellites. Didn't
No,
have. We didn't have the computers helping us out with the weather forecast. You had a bunch of very sincere, knowledgeable people who took reports from other people in other areas and tried to figure it all out. And they did a pretty fair job, because when everybody went to work and school on the morning of the blizzard of '78, I recall it very clearly, we were told to expect a significant snowstorm. In fact, I saw Arthur Carteret's typewritten weather forecast for that day, and it said 22 to 24 inches of snow, which is a lot.
That's a lot.
Of course, back in the '60s and '70s, we weren't as impressed with those amounts as we are
Right.
today. But anyway, so we all went to work and school, and then things got really bad really fast because they didn't have enough information knowing just how bad it was going to be. And worse than anything, the blizzard of '78 lasted 4 days. So that was, well, it didn't actually snow for 4 days. It snowed for about 36 hours. But the effects were still there afterwards. So it took a whole week to get back on track. We get all that. I'll further illuminate that fact. When you think back at the hurricane of '38, now none of us were around for the hurricane of '38, right? Right,
Right.
Linda?
Nope.
Right, we weren't
Not
around.
even me.
Not even you. But my parents were. And I say that one, weather forecasting, and the way that the storm came at us, that hurricane, we had no idea. We just had no idea. There were reports all up and down the eastern seaboard. They were getting telegraph messages from ships at sea saying there was an awful storm out there. But when you're a ship at sea, you can't tell how fast it is, how big it is, where it's going, and stuff like that. You can't, because you're there being affected by it. You are desperately trying to keep your ship from sinking. You're not worried about how big this storm is around you. You're just trying to survive. And it came in over Long Island and over southern New England very, very seriously. But you really didn't have much warning. I mean, Block Island found out before anybody else. But other than that, it was so. And it's because they didn't have that kind of technology. Now we have the technology, and everybody says, well, when's it going to start? At 7 o'clock or 7:30? I said, well, come on, grow up and be unhappy. My goodness, that's just too much to try to get that kind of accuracy with what we have to work with today. So we're very lucky. You're right, Linda. People were not on the road. They didn't go to work on Monday. They didn't go to school on Monday and then have to be called back.
Right. Absolutely.
So we were lucky this time around in that respect. So, yeah. So I think that, there's a lot of baloney you put up with in this day and age. But there's also some good things, too. So, like everything else, it's a double-edged sword, eh?
Right.
Hey, Dave.
Absolutely. And I always say, progress is a matter of opinion, not a matter of fact. Well, with this storm, I was proven wrong. They had all the tools necessary to let us know.
Sure.
And, as I said, I was there for '78, and it wasn't pretty. It
Right.
wasn't pretty because I was one of those essential personnel that had to get there, but remember the National Guard was here and helped us out, brought us into the hospital so that we could take care of our patients. So,
But to know more than 50 hours ahead of time was quite a blessing.
well, it was a blessing. Well, even, when we say the kids were in school, I remember I did get home after that day shift. They let me go home, and I was panicked because my kids weren't home yet.
Yeah.
The kids were still in school. So even, so this way, Monday there was no school, and I think the three states did a great job between, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island called the state of emergency travel ban. And it helped a lot of things. Plus, they had pulled the trucks off the highways, too, early on.
That's right. On the interstates, they took the through trucks off the road. Very smart. Right. So we're learning, and you can...
I think it was handled well. I think it was handled well by the three states, and I'm sure they were all talking to each other.
Well,
yes, and a lot of snow.
You can probably attest to this, having been an office holder before, that someone's going to complain.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, they're going to complain.
It is the public's prerogative to complain about its leaders, but I don't think it's justified. No,
absolutely. And especially like for the cities like Providence and, well, even Woonsocket, the people you don't have as many, like North Smithfield, we're very fortunate. A lot of our streets are state roads.
Right.
So DOT is here doing that. And people have places to park. So, they're not on the streets, but in the cities where people are on the streets. And it's really hard. It's really hard for those people to, it's not that they don't want to, it's just very difficult.
And Joe, you had a different perspective of it, somewhat to the north and east of us. Any guesses on how much snow you ended up with?
Oh, it looks like anywhere between like 32 and 36 inches or so, pretty close to 3 feet up in this whole northern Bristol County, Massachusetts. So
it's hard to know.
Area.
It's hard to know because of the drifting, isn't it? Right here at the radio station, we have a drift over 5 feet high. And we're not talking a plowed pile, because we got those there over 8 feet high. But we have just a drift where there was very little snow before the storm is now over 5 feet. We can tell this because the fence behind it is a 5-foot fence. Right, and it's way over the fence, that drift is. But then we have other places on the north side of the building where it's a lot less because it was blowing that snow and picking it up and moving it to the south side of the building and putting it in the snowdrifts and things like that. Yeah, so that's what's going on. Folks, we have to take a little break here. Before I do want to make mention of, this is the announcement I told you would be coming in, from a family member. We like to get these from the funeral homes, but I know the family member, they wouldn't be pulling our leg. And I remember reading the obituary yesterday during our Valley Breeze obituary segment for Sue Messier. Her calling hours, not going to be today. They're going to be this coming Sunday. Oh, actually, her funeral was supposed to be today, as I recall. Her calling hours are now Sunday, 4 to 7. Couldn't have them yesterday. Sunday, this coming Sunday, March 1st, 4 to 7. The Mass will be on Monday at Precious Blood. It was going to be at Precious Blood today, but now Precious Blood next Monday, the 2nd of March at 10 a.m. That's for Sue Messier, and we wanted to get that out for the family. All righty. Let's see what we have here. We have another message here coming up from Ed Carew, I think. Yeah, and the entire break coming your way right now. We'll continue with coffee in a few minutes.
ON 1240.
Every winter, the state of Rhode Island prepares for the winter season, and we want you to be prepared as well. At the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency, our top priority is keeping everyone safe, so we want to remind you to be prepared for the ice, cold, and snow. Keep an emergency supply kit, have a communications plan, and stay informed. Find more information at riema.ri.gov or visit us on social media. Brought to you by the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
The Coffee AM panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio in Woonsocket.
Yeah, that's us. And I mentioned the Carew message because Ed Carew and the Carew Investment Group brought us the first portion of our conversation. Here, let's hear that message now.
They say in business you don't last very long if you don't know what you're doing. And if that's the case, we must know a thing or two at the Carew Investment Group, because we've been in the business since 1987, helping people just like you with their investments. At the Carew Investment Group, we employ a conservative approach to client portfolios by using only the best quality companies available, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We look for opportunities that we expect to go up in value not every day, but over time. And we take our responsibility seriously and always place our clients first in any investment decision. If you'd like to know more or would like a free portfolio review of your current holdings, you can call Paul or Ed at 765-8880. Our office is located at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3 in Cumberland, Rhode Island, and we'd love to meet you and see if we can help you with your investing journey. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Thank you, Ed. All right, back to the conversation for another few minutes here before we hit our next break here on Coffee and. First segment went a little bit over here. So Joe Callahan and Linda Tebow are on the lines with us right now. And are you still there?
Still here.
Just wanted to be sure. Okay, thank you very much. We've been talking about the blizzard a lot. I mean, why not? Down in South County, we have friends I know who have radio stations who have been on the generator since 3:30 in the morning yesterday.
Wow.
And they don't know when the power is coming back on. That's just the way it is for them. But their transmitters are out in rather remote areas of the state down south. I'm taking a look now at the Rhode Island Energy grid showing power failures. We have a few of them in our local area, very few. In northern Barrowville, we have 2. I'm looking at the thing right now. And let me bring this over again. So we have 2 of them off Douglas Turnpike in Burrillville, in northern Burrillville. North Smithfield, I'm looking at 4 in North Smithfield. Primrose is okay, but out in the woods near Log Road or Matity Road, we've got one up near Slatersville, right not too far away from the church, if I'm guessing this correctly and knowing the road. And along Route 5, we have another power. These are single power outages. There's a group of 19 power outages in North Smithfield, not too far away from 146. And then we have a whole bunch of them in Smithfield. Out in the wilds of Gloucester, we've got one particular outage where 66 customers are out. Another outage out in West Gloucester where there's 31 customers out. 44 are out just south of Greenville. North Situate's got a few. Now let's look across the Blackstone Valley. Cumberland's coming out of this really good. They got, first of all of Woonsocket, no reported power outages in the city limits. In Cumberland, looking pretty good. Way out there, past Tower Hill Road, near Attleboro, North Attleboro, actually. In the far northeast corner, there's one house doesn't have power, and then on Mendon Road, we've got a little place not too far away from Ashton. Yeah, it looks like it's on the east side of Ashton, right over there. Lincoln, we've got one right near the Toll House in the Lime Rock section, and those are our local communities. But now when you move down south, capital city of Providence got a few here, a few there, no big deal. But let's take a look at Coventry. One outage has 150 people without power. Down in East Greenwich, one outage has 385 customers without power, and another one has 645 customers without power. And that's, is that East Greenwich, or it's right on the line with West Warwick? But you know the area of the state we're talking about. In the East Bay, we got 66 people out in one outage in Bristol. And in Newport, 423 out. We're almost right in downtown, just north of downtown, near Admiral Kalfas Road and the road up to Middletown. Tiverton got a few. Little Compton's got one with 30 out, one with 32 out, and there's a bunch of smattering here. South Kingstown, one outage, 802 customers out. Another one, 125 customers out. Narragansett, 485 customers out. And there's, by the way, as I said, a smattering of others that are single ones, but there's groups of them, clusters. Now let's talk about down there where I like to go to visit South County, where my forebears took me as I was a youngster, down near Matunic, on the east side of Matunic, Jerusalem, all the rest of that. 400 customers out of power down near where George's was, and where the Block Island Ferry, which isn't running again, is got an office. 126 over along Route 1 going west toward Westerly. Now let's see, Charlestown, 1,294 people out of power in one power outage that's reported, 62 in another, 126 in another, all down in Charlestown. And Westerly, in the Misquamicut area, 193. I'll stop there. But, there's a lot of people without power. I mentioned the 400 and so just north of Newport. On Aquidneck Island, south of Newport, there's one outage that has 580 out. So, altogether, you got thousands of people without power right now. Customers currently without power in Rhode Island. We're only talking Rhode Island. 20,994 are waiting for the power to come back on. And that's the situation. So, and the South got a hit. They got hit worse than we did up here. Thank you very much. We're very pleased that that's the situation. Okay, so that's a look all over the place. Of course, our congressional delegation has sent a letter to President Trump and said, please, I know we're Democrats, but the state needs help. So why don't you release some of that FEMA money? Currently, we see there's $9 billion there that's authorized in the Disaster Relief Fund, and we'd love you to throw a couple of bucks our way.
Any response?
Well, not yet. They sent the letter yesterday.
Okay.
And Dave, that's why the governors quickly declared a state of emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you are eligible for those FEMA funds, so hopefully we'll get them. Yeah.
Yep, hopefully. All right, we have to take another little break over here. We'll come back with more conversation at Coffee Am with Linda and Joe on our Coffee Am program for Tuesday, February the 24th. Time now for the weather forecast. And it's a good deal shorter than the one we had for you yesterday. It only takes a minute and 18 seconds to read instead of the one that was like 4 minutes long yesterday. Questions about youth or high school sports? Well, Positive Coaching Alliance brings you this forecast, and they can help you with a national nonprofit organization developing better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Information is available on the web at positivecoach.org.
Mostly sunny skies today with a high of 29 degrees and a breeze from the northwest. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 10 degrees above zero, west winds. Wednesday's weather, rain and snow mix, switching over to all rain in the afternoon. High of 39 degrees, breeze from the south gusting to 20 miles per hour, 100% chance of the rain and snow mix and then the rain, and new snow accumulations of an inch or two possible. Wednesday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 25. Thursday, there's a 30% chance of some leftover snow. Partly sunny skies later in the day with a high of 39 degrees, less than a half an inch of snow is possible. Thursday night, 1 to 3 inches of snow is possible, mostly cloudy skies, overnight low of 20 degrees, 50% chance. Friday, some leftover snow showers in the morning, mostly sunny for the remainder of the day, high of 38. Saturday, mostly sunny and 44. Sunday, mostly sunny and 39. And on Monday, a 30% chance of some more snow, but more sun than clouds for most of the day, high of 26 degrees with a breeze from the north.
Yeah, and there you have it. Presently outside our Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio here at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street in Woonsocket. Our temperature is 25 degrees.
Due to higher prices for food, gas for the car, and utilities, the bills piled up, and I got worried.
For years, the Good Neighbor Energy Fund has responded by providing energy assistance to local households.
Thanks to the fund, my family is getting through this tough time.
If your household is having trouble paying the heating bills, please contact a CAP agency, call United Way 211, or visit Rhode-IslandGoodNeighbor.org. Ad sponsored by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
ON Worldwide.
We're back on Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Dave in the studio, and on the telephone lines we have Joe Callahan and Linda Thibault. Greetings.
Hello, hello.
We have more information storm related. I might as well get this out on the air. I mentioned that Chief Cahill of the fire department here in Woonsocket said they were extending that parking ban out to 7 p.m. on Wednesday. I said that. But people will say, but gee whiz, what are we doing about trash pickup? Go ahead, say that. What are we doing about trash pickup?
What are we doing about trash pickup?
Well, you folks out there in North Smithfield, you use Waste Management as your trash hauler, same as we do here in Woonsocket. I'm hesitant to say that this applies to all the other towns, but I believe that it does. And that is that you're not going to have your trash picked up today. So if you were one who normally has it's a 2-day trash holiday this week, a 1-day trash holiday next week, because they cannot make up more than 1 day in a week when they get behind. So so if you normally would have had your trash picked up yesterday on Monday, you're now going to have your trash picked up tomorrow on Wednesday. In our neighborhood here on Park Avenue, we usually get it picked up on Tuesday. We're now getting our trash picked up on Tuesday the 26th. Wednesday people will be picked up on Friday the 27th. Thursday people will be picked up on Saturday the 28th. Now, next week, as I say, there's a 1-day trash delay all next week because they can only make up one of the 2 days they're behind. So on Monday, Friday people are getting their trash picked up. Then on Tuesday, Monday, and like that all the rest of next week, until eventually, if we don't have another big storm, they will catch up. Although, did I just hear me say that in the next several days, another 5 inches of snow is possible?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, come on, April. And and Joe, you know that I'm scheduled to travel to Washington, D.C. next week, and it looks like you got snow while I'm there. Oh, boy.
Any chance that may be rescheduled because of all the snow we just got? They got snow too down in Washington.
Oh, did they? Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I just didn't know if the whole thing let's push that out another couple of weeks. But you haven't heard anything, right?
Yeah. No, I haven't. And considering the congressional schedules and all the rest of that stuff, I don't know if we can put Humpty Dumpty back together again if we don't do that on schedule next week. So they may just give it a pass for a whole year. And for the Joe knows this, but for the sake of everybody else who doesn't know, the reason I'm going down is to represent our station and our broadcast industry with all of our Congress critters down there. We have meetings with Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Reed, Mr. Amo, and even though he doesn't represent our portion of the state, I'm also on the board of the Rhode Island Broadcasters, so I'm also representing all of the broadcasters from Rhode Island, so we'll also be talking to the other congressmen.
Magaziner.
What's that? Magaziner.
That's Magaziner. Yeah.
And I told Congressman Magaziner this, by the way, every time I see you, I think of your dad, because we dealt with his dad all the time during the banking crisis in the 90s. And so sometimes I draw a blank on his first name. So there you go. All right. Well, some members of the Rhode Island congressional delegation will not be in attendance tonight for President Trump's State of the Union address. I don't know how you folks feel about this. U.S. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse didn't attend last year, says he's going to forget to tonight. Representative Gabe Amo says he'll be working in his D.C. office. He's not going to the alternative party like Ed Markey. Ed Markey's going to the alternative demonstration, the People's State of the Union out on the National Mall.
Oh, okay.
Ed Markey's going there. But Ammo says, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm just not going to go because I'm not sure I can hold my tongue. And I don't want to be in this negative situation that he perceives will happen. So he's just going to stay in his office, maybe watch it on TV, who knows? Maybe pound the desk, maybe shout at the walls, I don't know. Aaron Spalding, the executive director of Connecting for Children and Families, was Congressman Ammo's invited guest in the House gallery. He won't be escorting her.
I guess not.
Okay. Now, U.S. Senator Jack Reed from Rhode Island will attend the address. He says somebody has to. And he says...
But he drew the short straw?
And he's going to be accompanying, as his guest, Rhode Island Secretary of State Greg Amore. Reed says that as Secretary of State, Amore plays a critical role safeguarding the integrity, accuracy, and security of Rhode Island's elections, and Mr. Trump is threatening to nationalize the 2026 elections. And so, like that. So, yeah, I don't imagine they'll be standing up and cheering or anything like that. That's certainly a polite way to demonstrate your displeasure. To just not stand up and applaud when the president says something. But at the same time, you don't want to say anything. Now, did you hear on our news that the head of the Democratic Party down in Washington is pleading with members of Congress from both houses, please, if you go to the State of the Union address, behave yourself. Because we don't want the scenes of members of our party being taken out of the room as happened before.
Right.
Yeah.
They say, if you feel that you are not going to be able to hold your tongue when comments are made that you vehemently disagree with, just don't go.
Like
you don't have to
demo.
go to the protest out on the National Mall, but just don't go in. And that way we'll preserve the dignity of the party, and like that. That's what they're saying to all of the Democratic congressional members. What do you think?
What happened to the days of you respect the office of president? You don't have to respect the person, but the office of president of the United States.
I can answer that question, by the way. Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead and answer.
I can answer it in 3 words.
Okay.
Richard Milhouse Nixon.
All right.
That's when people stopped.
Young, then.
That's when people stopped respecting the office of president, and several presidents since then have made it worse, including the present occupant. Do you disagree, Linda?
Well, the thing is, we live in a country where we can disagree with the president, and we can, talk about it. We have freedom of speech. But, I'm kind of with Joe. You respect the office and not the person. He's still the president. Do I agree with him? Most of the time I don't. But no. I think, will I be watching it? I probably won't. But then again, I'm going to be in my own house, and if I want to say what I want to say, I can.
Scream at the TV.
And I think the chairman of the Democratic committee is absolutely right. You're grown-up people, and I always like to say we can agree to disagree, but that's not happening today, and that's wrong. That's wrong.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but Joe asked me to explain it, and I felt that I could. I still respect the office of president.
Yeah.
And I frequently disagree with decisions. Heck, I've said this many times on the air. The governor of Rhode Island, and I go way back. I consider him a friend. He says he considers me a friend. I disagree with what he does, but I respect the governor.
Well, exactly. He's a buddy of mine, too. But the thing is, too, I think it's incumbent upon that person to act like the president, though.
Well, there you go.
And that's the thing. You represent the country, it goes both ways. it goes both ways.
It does.
You can. I mean, I go way back with Dan McKee too, and I don't agree with some of the things, but he's still the governor.
Right. You've also led a municipality before, and you know that when you've got, by the time things get to your desk, all the easy choices have been taken.
Exactly.
And so you're going to tick some people off because you're going to do something they don't like.
Well,
or you're going to...
you can't please everybody when you're in office.
Or you're going to do something even worse and not make a decision.
Right. Well,
doing nothing sometimes is more hurtful than doing something that's even wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we get that. And when we're kids, we don't get that. If we don't bother improving ourselves, we don't get that. But if you've ever been a leader of anything, you get it. And so it's worse when you get to be president, obviously.
Well, of course, because then you have then you can get the whole world upset with you. But there's a lot of I don't know. I'm older, and we were brought up to respect. Because there's not even a lot of respect, not only for the president, but you see it even with teachers, with the police. So it's a whole different world out there now, And we're lucky that we're in this country where we can say what we want to say, freedom of speech, But that's for another day.
Yes, it is, isn't it? All right. Well, that's just fine, and I think you said it well, Linda. It's we all yearn for a time when things were a little bit less dramatic, and we don't always get it. We have some more things we could talk about, but right now it's time to take another little break there, friends. So I'll ask you to sip on your coffee and sit on the side there while I take care of broadcasting these important messages. ON Radio.
You manage your business, we'll manage your finances. With Navigant Credit Union's cash management services, you'll boost efficiency and enhance performance. From collections to disbursements, it's the expertise you didn't know you needed. Try Navigant Credit Union today. Federally insured by NCUA.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio. ON Radio.
Exactly. Thank you very much. And little program note, we're on with Joe Callahan and Linda Tebow on our broadcast of Coffee and this morning, coming to you live from ON Radio, AM and FM, and along all of our streaming services. Sorry, there's not much to watch on the TV show part of it. It's just my mug and looking out the window because everybody else is gone there, friends. But the main thing I wanted to get across as we approach 9 o'clock is that Gary Smith has decided that we will not have the show this morning for Do You Remember? But it's now getting to the point where Denise is going to have to make a change if we don't. Okay, I see it. We're going to play music, not going to play back Friday's show. You can get Friday's show if you go to the website. Well, there's a smart girl right there. And that's why I like to listen to everybody's points of view, because she's saying, but Dave, there's different ads on Mondays and Fridays, and we're going to end up, there's going to be a lot of work afterwards trying to make up for the fact I said Mondays and Wednesdays. I meant to say Tuesdays and Fridays. So that will cause just more work backstage than needed, and so we will not replay last Friday's Coffee, and although it was tempting, you can go and catch it online if you wish. We will be playing music for you live from the broadcast center here in Woonsocket. Okay, back to Linda and to Joe. And there is now a dress code, Linda. I don't know if you realize this, but the 2026 Met Gala. This is in Washington, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, there's a dress code, and they've announced it. So hopefully it's in time for you to get your gown in order. It says the annual event will be following the formal dress code Fashion is Art, along with the theme Costume Art, and telling everyone to be nice and wear clothes. because they can just picture somebody is going to try to stand in front of the camera and say, well, my body is art. The event is co-chaired by Beyonce, Venus Williams, Nicole Kidman, and Anna Wintour. Am I saying her name right? I don't know her.
No.
Wintour? Whatever. Vogue magazine says this year's dress code encourages attendees to, quote, consider the many ways that designers use the human body as their blank canvases. And it's going to happen on Rhode Island Independence Day, May 4th.
I haven't got my invitation yet.
You haven't? Oh, that's too bad.
No.
32-year-old Nick Reiner out in California entered his plea in downtown Los Angeles courtroom yesterday. He says he didn't do it. Kill his dad and his mom, I think his stepmom, isn't it?
Stepmom, yeah.
So he remains behind bars without bail because there is no bail for a murder charge. And, well, anyway, they say things are getting back on track with that. That's a sad thing. And to think about it, it was just December and he's just been arraigned. All kinds of delays that they've been putting in on this thing. I guess just trying to drag things out.
Delays from his lawyer?
Well, what did I see here? He had a lawyer.
Yeah.
But the lawyer was fed up with him after a few meetings and says, I'm not doing it.
I quit.
Go find yourself another one. It says here that Reiner is being represented by a public defender at county expense. Kimberly Green is the name of the person who drew the short straw. After Reiner's initial attorney stepped away from the case, they're saying that politely. And that's the situation. His next court appearance, April 29th, with a preliminary hearing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
In 2 months. Down in Florida, the state of Florida is standing by to carry out a death sentence today. Melvin Trotter is due to be executed by lethal injection. He's 65 years old right now. He's been on death row for a while. He is convicted of stabbing a 70-year-old woman during a robbery in Manatee County in 1986. She was 70 years old. He was much younger. And from 1986 to now, to today, he's been being tried. He's been convicted. Obviously, there's been appeals and things like that, and it's just now getting time to carry it out.
40 years.
Yeah. Virgie Langford was the murder victim, and she lived long enough to identify Trotter as her attacker before she passed away in the hospital.
Wow.
This would be Florida's second execution of the year. And by the way, another one is scheduled for next week, number 3.
Wow.
I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I always get sad when I see this about executions and things.
Well, it's not a happy occasion.
I don't have any better solution. I'm not telling somebody that they're wrong, but I just feel sad in my heart when the government feels that they have to do away with somebody like that. On the other hand, you take a look and see what it's like living in prison, and that's hardly living too. So I don't know which. I guess some people have tried unsuccessfully to say that living in prison, life in prison, is cruel and unusual. It's torture and all the rest of that stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's better that we don't give our opinions. You're not going to be right no matter with everybody, that's for sure. Except to be sad about it. I suppose that's the only course I can take. Oh, boy. Every now and then we get these stories about dumb people who are doing dumb things. Here's one from Lincoln, Nebraska. A Nebraska woman is in custody right now after deputies say they found more than $2 million worth of meth amphetamine in her vehicle. $2 million. Wow. Lancaster County Sheriff's Office says Nadia Castro was her name. She was pulled over on Sunday after she failed to signal, use your directional, and was following another car too closely. Officers found right. Officers found a grocery bag full of meth in her trunk, as well as 16 pounds in one of the spare tires, 22 pounds in another spare tire. 2 spare tires in the car. I guess she was ready.
Well, the question leads: why would the police have the suspicion to open the trunk on a small stop like that?
Can't tell you
something
that.
else in the car? I wonder if they saw something else in the car and said, "Okay, now we can search the whole thing," or did they ask her, "Hey, can we check out what's in your trunk?" And she said, "Okay."
Yeah, you're thinking PC, probable cause, right? Well, if she was driving, as was described here, they could say she's driving recklessly. I guess a lot would depend on her demeanor when they pulled her over. What did she act like? Did she act like somebody had something to hide? They gave them probable cause to check to see if she did. You don't know.
I guess so. I don't. We weren't there. Right?
Yeah. So I thought
Joe,
that
I
was
was
pretty.
doing the same thing from direction to let me search your car. Yeah.
Why are you in the trunk?
Yeah.
Unless they found something else in the car,
Right.
Maybe she couldn't fit it all in the trunk. Some in the back seat.
Well.
Did anybody know Robert Carradine, the actor?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Boy.
He lost. He took his own life after battling for a year with bipolar disorder. He finally took his own life yesterday.
Oh.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Best known for his work in films like The Long Riders, Revenge of the Nerds, and the television series Lizzie McGuire.
Right, yeah.
Family issued a statement calling Carradine a beacon of light for everyone around him, but the bipolar disorder got the best of him.
Yeah.
No, that's too bad. That's sad.
I think now is a good time for me to remind everybody that you can call 988 or text 988 or calling. You can call or text 988 is what I meant to say. 24/7 National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Yeah.
Whenever you read that kind of a story, you want to make sure you mention it to people.
Well, and also, Dave, I think it brings to light that the mental illness is a major problem, and often results the same result. So, we need to pay attention to mental illness for sure.
We do. One last thing, the Kentucky Derby Festival is inviting folks to vote for the top contenders in this year's Derby Burger Challenge. Dozens of inventive burger recipes have been narrowed down to 8 finalists. The entries all include 100% Kentucky Cattleman's ground beef and Dan O's seasoning paired with a variety of other unique toppings, including honey, peanut butter on a burger, mint julep jelly. Mint jelly.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. The top 4 finishers will move on to the 2026 Derby Challenge Cook-Off, with the winner featured at the festival and in area Kroger stores. They have a lot of those in Louisville. Those who would like to vote on their own favorite recipe can do so by visiting the Derby Festival website now through Friday. All righty. Linda, we got another minute.
Using any,
I'm sorry, Joe?
No horse meat. They won't be using any horse meat, right?
I don't think so, Joe. Bite your tongue.
Okay. Just double checking.
So, Linda, we've got about a minute and a half. You want to tell us what's going on with the seniors before we leave? We heard you yesterday on the Senior Scene program you recorded on Friday, but any updates for us?
Well, a couple of updates there, yes.
Okay.
What we've added for St. Patrick's Day, we're going to do a lucky exercise bingo. I had done an exercise bingo class before, and it was so well received. And I said, gee, we've got to do something for St. Patty's Day, so we're going to have a lucky exercise bingo. That's going to be on at 1 o'clock on the day. And, I just always remind people that when North Smithfield schools are closed, so are we. Yeah. So when they see that on the TV, we're not there. Hopefully we'll be there tomorrow. We have a chair yoga.
That would be nice.
In lunch. So hopefully but we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. And I'm a little distracted. I'm watching my husband, Dave, out there. He's got the snowblower going. And I have to tell you, Dave's pretty tall.
Yes.
Snow is well past his knees. I walked into the garage, and I was, and that's the other thing. As a nurse, please be careful when you're removing the snow. The snowblower is doing a lot of work, but that's still a lot of work for a person. So pay attention if you're short of breath, have any crushing pain or anything like that. stop what you're doing, and that's why I'm watching. Call 911 if you need to.
All right. Well, I'll add on to that, Linda, as a guy who's seen a few snowstorms myself, and I do like to shovel. We were out shoveling last night. Don't wait to feel bad to stop and take a rest.
Exactly.
If you're feeling tired, stop.
Exactly.
Oh, yes, well, we got to get this done, and I want to get it done. I don't want to have to take my clothes off and put my winter clothes back on and go out. I understand all that, but stop when you're tired, not when you're hurting.
Exactly. And, snow is powder, but it's still heavy, so there's so much...
this ain't powder, kiddo.
Yeah.
No. I was out shoveling last night. This stuff's got some heft to it.
Really? I was helping last night, too, and I thought it was very powdery. It's not that heavy, but there's just so much of it. There's just so much of it.
It is. All right. Well, thanks for being with us, Joe and Linda, for being with us on the show today. We really appreciate you being here. Make it a pleasant day and be safe out there, okay? And hopefully we're all meeting together soon in person, real soon.
Yes. Thank you.
So.
Take care. All right, and we'll remind everybody that the Do You Remember program will not be heard today. We'll be playing music instead because of the difficulties of getting the staff to the station with the travel ban. And hopefully they'll be back tomorrow, too. All right, that's it. And if you missed any portion of our program today, you can pick it up on demand at woonsockeradio.com a little bit later.